Hi, my name is Emily. I am the Associate Director in the Study Abroad Office. We're here today to talk about Webster, Vienna. I was lucky enough to visit Webster, Vienna a few years ago, and it is a wonderful, wonderful place. I think Vienna is a highly underrated international city. Would you agree, Sarah?
Nice.
We have Sarah here who studied abroad at Webster, Vienna. Do you want to talk a little bit about like when you went and like a highlight and challenge?
Yeah, so I went last spring, and the challenge for that obviously is getting sent home due to COVID. But I can't even pick one highlight. Like I was only there for 2 months, but it definitely like changed my life. Like I'm literally doing my honors thesis on something that I learned in Vienna. So if you're interested in this program, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. It was definitely unfortunate, but I'm glad you still got some time.
Yeah.
And then we have Webster University representative Jennifer Dickey here to talk
Hello.
about it.
Yeah, I'm Jennifer. I am the study abroad coordinator for Webster. I'm actually based in St. Louis, but I work with our partners at U.S. institutions who utilize some of our international campuses for study abroad locations. So I've been working with Emily and with Suni for a few years now. I'm happy to be here. So we'll go ahead and jump in. Let's see, I'll see if I can share. You guys can see the big picture of Vienna, yeah? Okay, yeah. Awesome. So this is our campus in Vienna, and it's actually located in the 2nd district, just a few steps from the city center. And Vienna has been voted the #1 city for quality of living for over 10 years now, and I think for good reason. So there are parks and green spaces throughout the city. It's beautiful, like old meets new architecture everywhere you walk. The coffee house culture is amazing, museums. It's really a fantastic city. It is a large city, but to me, even kind of feels like a small town. It's nice to, easy to walk around in. There's big, large streets, and it's just easy to, get around on public transportation, but also I love wandering around the city and exploring different locations and things. So it's definitely a wonderful location for studying abroad. And Sarah, feel free to jump in at any time if you want to mention anything or if I'm missing things. So just a little bit about the WINS program. We are an American institution at all of our study abroad locations. So it is very similar undergraduate and graduate courses that you may find at your home campus at SUNY as well. And all of the courses are taught in English. So that's the common language. And of course, you can take German courses when you're in Vienna, but all the other courses will be taught in English. And it really is a truly international campus population. So each of our campus location offers local degree seeking students who are there getting their bachelor's degrees, and they'll come from the local countries, so Austria, but also nearby countries, and around the world, really. And then you top that off with a group of study abroad students from around the US, and it's a really dynamic situation, great classroom discussions, faculty and staff that are from around the world as well. Sarah, I saw you nodding your head, so I think you probably had a good experience with kind of getting to know people from around the world as well, too. And then our staff works very closely with Emily in the study abroad office at Geneseo throughout the entire application process and while you are abroad. And then we also work with the Student Resource Center in Vienna while you're there as well, too. So if you have questions or concerns or looking to get involved, there's a great office on the Vienna campus as well. We also offer a WINS Travel Award, which is $1,000 towards your round trip flight, and that is a sort of a guaranteed scholarship essentially. So once you've been admitted to the program by both schools, then there's a short application you fill out, and we'll work with you to get that awarded. I do have a very short video if it's going to play. This one is just about a minute long, and it takes you through the campus in Vienna. Webster Vienna does a great job of their YouTube page creating videos. It really gives you an idea of the campus as well as the city of Vienna. And they actually recently have done several videos that show what it's like to be a student in the classroom at Vienna. So they recorded a few of the faculty members with their lectures. So it's really something, just to maybe if you don't want to watch the whole thing, but to check out and get a feel for what that would be like at Webster Vienna. You can see here the list of academic programs that are offered. These are undergraduate degrees in Vienna. And even if you are majoring in something that you don't see listed here, it's likely we'll have a general studies or an elective course that's offered. We also aren't, the minors aren't listed here, so there's quite a few of those as well. And you can actually see the course listings for Vienna. I can actually share that in the chat after the presentation. Oh, Sarah, did you want to say something?
Yeah, because just going off that, I'm a history and education major, and none of these are there, but I still had plenty of interesting classes to take that related to it. So even if this isn't one of your majors, you can still do it.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great to hear. And I can also share in the chat the list of courses. So they have listed courses all the way through spring of 22 on their website now. So you can kind of go and get an idea of things that are relevant to your major or minor, or even as an elective there as well. So a couple of the academic highlights and things that are unique to the campus in Vienna. Psychology is a big major there, and they have a psychology lab. It's a cognitive and affective neuroscience and behavior lab where students can take various behavioral measures, including brain activities using EEG machines, and to really study and quantify emotion by investigating facial expressions, and different behavioral observations as well. So it's a unique thing to our network of campuses. And then there are also specialty programs, music in Vienna, which is offered there's a one course specifically offered each semester, and then in the summer, and then during the semesters, students have the opportunity to be matched up with a musician locally, whether it's instrument or vocal, to do a master's class learning with that professional. And then also in the summer, we are offering now a language of leader music program, which is the German style performance. And so that combines German language and then the musical styles as well. And we also do a summer art institute in Vienna, which has been running with Webster faculty for several years now. And we are now able to offer it and opening it up to WIN students. So that's for students who are interested in studio art, majoring in that and kind of getting an idea of what it's like working as an artist in residence through this program. And of course, you can take the German language courses in Vienna as well. So we have a new housing facility in Vienna. So we actually, it was going to be new last summer. We haven't had a chance to get students there, but it is the student hotel. So it's a single ensuite accommodation and with a shared kitchen. And the rooms are in pods of 8. And you have, the kitchen with individual food storage and space there. It's also located in Vienna's 2nd district and is approximately a 20-minute walk from campus. You can also take public transportation if you want to, and they also have bike rentals. So if you're there for a semester, you can, check bikes in and out at the front desk as you're going to class or other places around the city. So there are also a lot of great activities and on-campus services that are available to students. You can see those listed here and just sort of touch on these student involvement opportunities. The SGA is a big thing in Vienna. We actually have several study abroad students who get involved in this every year, whether they're holding an office or just helping to plan events. It's a really great way to get involved on campus. And then there are community events throughout the academic year. So in January, students have the opportunity to go to the Ball of Sciences. I don't know, Sarah, if you did that while you were there.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a fantastic, it's very quintessential Viennese experience, I think. And then, they're like all the way through the end of December where there are Christmas markets, there's always something going on in Vienna. They also do typically in the fall semester, WebMun, which is the Model UN conference that's put on by Webster students and the Model UN organization there. So that's very popular, and students come from all around Europe to participate in that. Excuse me. So lots of really great events on campus there. And just putting up here our deadlines. We actually have for fall of 2021 applications, we have pushed that deadline back to April 15th. So just as a heads up.
I'm gonna jump in here real quick. Yeah. For our Vienna program, you can navigate to our program page through our main homepage by clicking search programs, and we have the semester and the summer program. The summer program is a 5-week program. Obviously, this is not an option for summer 2021 due to SUNY's suspension of summer programs for the summer, but our fall application is open, and we are hopeful that this term will be up and running. And one of the great things, and maybe Sarah, you want to jump in about this, but one of the great things about Vienna is its location. You're right near Bratislava, you're right near Munich, you're right near Prague, you're right near Budapest. You're not far from Italy. So everything is a really easy distance away. Is that the experience you had, Sarah?
Well, I actually didn't do much traveling because I was planning on doing it all after the semester ended. But definitely, like, for my plans, it was super easy to get anywhere. And like, I had a couple of friends who would just go to a different place every weekend. Like, we went to Prague, and like, you can get cheap flights too. So like, someone went to like Spain just for a weekend. So yeah, that's another good thing. And I had like a couple friends there who picked Vienna because of its location, how close it was, and easy to travel. So
yeah, it's so easy just to. I remember Jennifer saying this before I even got to visit, but like, it was so true to just get outside the city. Like, there's so much to do in the city, but then right around in the surrounding region around Vienna is just this beautiful mountainside. So and then you got like Salzburg over here, and you got just so much to see right within the region. You can see on this page the academic calendar largely reflects our academic calendar at Geneseo. This is the course information, but I wanted to get down to our cost information. This is the 1920 cost sheet, so it can give you an idea. We hope to have our cost sheets up in the next month or two for academic year 21-22. But this gives you an idea of what everything costs. There's a $20 application charge, which is the same for all of our programs. There's a study of our program differential, which includes a single room that you were hearing about. It's a little bit different than this one that's outlined here. It's a shared kitchen, but we'll be updating this to reflect the new housing. There's a tuition difference. Webster University is a private institution, so the cost of attending Webster is a little bit more. So that's the tuition difference. Airport pickup, on-site orientation, health insurance, SUNY health insurance. So you're looking at about $11,540 for that. You pay standard tuition and the college fee, but you don't have to pay any of the other fees that you normally would have to pay to attend Geneseo, which is really nice. And then we have other estimated costs on here, including an entry visa, which you actually get upon arrival, airfare, which there's 2 asterisks next to this, because if you apply for the WINS Travel Award, you will automatically get $1,000 towards the price of round-trip airfare, which could completely cover this cost, depending on where you're flying from. Individual meals, local transportation, and personal expenses. And the personal expenses depends on you and what kind of traveler you are and how often you're going to go out to eat. But I found, and Sarah, let me know what you think, but I felt that Vienna was a very affordable European capital city.
Definitely. Like, I would spend like less than 20 euros a week on food.
Oh,
That's
nice.
great.
Yeah.
So it just makes it a lot easier once you're there to afford things.
Yeah.
We do have some scholarships through our office. So we have scholarships between $500 and $1,000. They are need-based scholarships based on financial need. And then there's also outside scholarships. And financial aid generally applies just as if you were on campus. So you just have to follow the same rules that you would on campus. And you might, in fact, get extra aid for the semester, mainly for the semester. But it usually is only in the form of loan money, but you can potentially get additional aid money. In the summer, if you go during the summer, you need to take at least 6 credits to access your financial aid. And it does deduct from your aid package for the overall year. But if you are a Pell Grant recipient, you can potentially get extra aid for the summer. So that's important to keep in mind. I guess the only other thing I wanted to two things. Our application deadline, you usually apply about a semester before the term you want to study abroad. So in the case of this fall, the application deadline is in fact March 1st for us, and then we'll walk you through the application process for Webster University because there's some things that you don't have to do because you already applied to us. And the final thing I wanted to point out is you can request an advising appointment here if you want to do a follow-up meeting about this program or if you have specific questions about this program. And I'm always happy to put students in touch with our alumni of these programs, such as Sarah, to kind of get that student perspective.
Yeah, Sarah, I would love, if you don't mind, to share a little bit more about what you or you said you had learned something in Vienna and you're working on your thesis on.
Yeah, so in that case, there was this idea in Austria that was like after World War II, and it kind of like not officially, but still exists today, that Austria was the first victim of Nazi aggression. So that was actually my project in my German class. I found that really interesting, and then we went to Hallstatt, which is this town in like Western Austria, and like I was just shocked because in Vienna, like it's honestly a pretty sterile city, and like they have like memorials and stuff everywhere. Mm-hmm. So you can't really tell that people still think that, but in this town there was like a memorial for like World War II soldiers, so like Nazis. We went to this grave site, and then there was like literally a picture of a Nazi there. So I was just like, whoa, what is this? And yeah, it's just like the memory of like World War II, which is completely different from how you expect. Like they don't consider themselves the victims, or not the victims, like the perpetrators, which is just really interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and just like in general, but don't let that scare you, especially like in Vienna. Like they've come to terms much better with that. And there's just a lot of history in Austria in general. So if you're a history nerd like me, you have a lot to do there. And I also recommend doing German. Because like that's the reason why I picked this program, because I'm a German minor, but also in general, like even if they switch to English, like if your German sucks, like they definitely appreciate you speaking in German and trying to learn the language, and people are nicer to you. So if you don't know German, definitely start to learn before you leave and take German classes once you get to Austria. And yeah, I just met like a bunch of really cool people too. Like I'm still friends with my study abroad friends, as well as some people from the city that I met from language exchanges. Mm-hmm. So highly recommend. Loved it.
That's so cool. Did you take the like German 3150, the German culture course? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was super cool. Yeah. So if you test into that one, I recommend it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then you did language exchanges just on your own?
Yeah, joined a Facebook group for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you like took that initiative and sought that out for sure. So that's such a cool story.
I definitely like try to like immerse myself in like the culture, whatever, as much as possible. Mm-hmm. So like using German as much as I could in my daily life, and just visiting like places outside of the tourist district. So I recommend doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we want students to do. So that's perfect. You're like the model study abroad student.